Hey, what's up, guys? It is morning time. Let's see what time it is. 1:17 in the morning, in the AM, and I couldn't sleep, so I decided to come out here and enjoy a pipe and tell a story. Trying a new pipe tobacco here, which I'll review a little bit in between this storytelling time. But accompanying me with my pipe is my Glock 36, because this is the time that the huge black bear like to roam the woods. And new flashlight I've been testing, which kicks major butt. This is the Through Night TN30, and this thing pumps out over 3,300 lumens. So, god damn, that's bright. So if I do hear any bumps in the night, I could certainly use this flashlight to look around, which is nice, except for I can't flash it at my neighbor's windows because it'll certainly wake them up. Anyway, so I got my light, I got my gun, I got my pipe. It's story time. So, first let me talk a little bit about this tobacco. This is a new tobacco for me, and we're talking about some Sutliff. Let me get the light. Let's see, I can turn this down. Alright. So I got some Sutliff here, private stock. This particular one, this is Balkan Luxury Blend 957. And this is made up of Orientals, Perique, Latakia, and Black Cavendish. So, interested in to see how this is going to smoke and taste. Let's ramp this up. God damn. It's bright. Alright. So, alright, so let me get this pipe going, and then we're going to get into the story. First, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Jersey Devil and its origins, and then I'll tell you my personal experience with it. Because me and my friends, well, there's once where I was with my friends where I thought I heard the Jersey Devil, and there was one time by myself walking home, which I know I heard the Jersey Devil. It was extra creepy. In fact, it's pretty creepy telling this story outside at 1 in the morning by myself in the woods, but so be it. Anyway, let me get this lit up. I love this size iCar pipe lighter. Very nice. And a little tamper. Built right in for you, which is very convenient. Smoking nice. Alright, so, I don't even know if you can see me, but so be it. Alright. I got morning throat. So first, where to start? Well, I have to start by explaining the legend of the Jersey Devil, for anyone who doesn't know. So the story goes like this. Sometime in the early 1700s, there was a prominent family in New Jersey, and the family name was the Leeds. Mr. and Mrs. Leeds. They had a dozen children. That's right, very busy couple. Now, Mr. Leeds was a drunkard, a useless drunk, and Mrs. Lead was apparently tired of having children all the time. Oh man, the room note of this tobacco is amazing. Alright, I'm getting off topic. I'll talk about this later in the video, the review of this stuff. So, Mr. and Mrs. Lead find out that she is pregnant once again for the 13th time. Of course, it has to be 13 because that happens to be the lucky or unlucky number. So, knowing that she's pregnant once again, can't take it, has 12 children, not happy with her life, she curses this child. She curses this child to be the devil. So, pregnancy goes normal. Now she's about to give birth, and during her birth, she squeezes out a lovely little boy, baby boy. Boy looks normal, just a regular little baby, cute as a button. But within a couple minutes of this boy being born, something awful happens. This little baby boy grotesquely starts morphing into this horrific monster. A kind of mishmash of all these different animal parts. You know, bat-like wings, a horse-like head, just a weird collaboration, you know, goat-like hoofed feet, you know, big claws, big teeth. He was a monster. This is a demonic figure. Of course, everyone around, all the, you know, the women helping with the birth and all the men there, completely horrified by this. Now, there are some alterations to the story. Some people say this birth was inside of a house, and the second that it morphed into this monster, this Jersey Devil, it scurried up the chimney and ran off. Other people say this birth took place outside somewhere, and that as soon as it morphed, it had ripped some of these people to shreds, just bit heads off, tore limbs off their bodies. It's more of a grotesque story. But either version you do hear of this, it all ends up with this cursed 13th Lead's child becoming this grotesque monster and scurrying off into the woods to live its life. Now, this story takes place down in South Jersey, in the Pine Barrens. The Pine Barrens are just miles and miles and miles of nothing, just woods, pine forests. It's crazy. There's been people who dump bodies out there. There's been all kinds of crazy stories out in the Pine Barrens. It's the middle of nowhere. There's no one out there. You can do anything you want and no one would hear you. And apparently, that's the stomping grounds of the Jersey Devil. And as the legend goes, that's where it haunts people. Anyone who visits the Pine Barrens. Now, of course, there's been sightings all over New Jersey. I'm hearing a noise over there in the bush. I'm hoping it's not a bear. Otherwise, this will turn into a local wildlife video. Friggin' love this flashlight. Yes, I will do a full review. This is rocking 3 18650s in here. And 3 beautiful LEDs. Alright, so anyway. Jersey Devil. So, back in the day, of course, you hear about the Jersey. If you live in Jersey, you hear the legend of the Jersey Devil and many forms of it. And the most predominant thing you hear about this thing is it scares the hell out of people, you know, because it makes this horrific shrieking noise. I mean, like a screaming, but it's out of this world, completely out of this world. It's a noise that you cannot possibly fathom. If you've ever heard two cats making love, well, I wouldn't even call it making love, two cats just procreating, it's like 100 times worse than that. It's this horrible, blood-curdling scream. And it's known for that. That's its trademark noise. When you're in the woods or out and about in these secluded areas and you hear something like that, immediately you assume it's the Jersey Devil. And it kind of teases people and scares people. And it depends on what version of the story you hear. Some people say it actually hurts people, hunts people down, kills them. But more often than not, you hear about this beast terrorizing and putting fear into people, but not actually hurting anyone. So, one summer, hanging out with my friends, and my youth was in the woods. I spend all of my free time in the woods. Sometimes doing great things, camping type things, other times doing bad things as a teenager. You know, starting fires, not like forest fires, but, you know, doing fireworks and stuff, and making our own explosions and all that kinds of crazy crap you do as a teenage boy. But I spent a lot of times in the woods, a lot of good times. So one summer, I was definitely in high school. I want to say probably a sophomore, maybe a junior. And actually it was between my my sophomore year and my junior year, it's that summer. And I'm hanging out with my friend Chris and my friend Tom. And we're back in the woods like normal, just kind of screwing around, hanging out. At the time, I think we were probably smoking some pot, which might have something to do with our story, but I promise you, this really happened. Even though I was smoking pot and I was a little high, we weren't crazy high or anything. I know this happened because all three of us witnessed this and all three of us experienced the same thing. So we're walking through the woods and we're going to our usual spot. We'd hike a little bit. We have our little hangout area, you know, had our seats up in there so you get nice and comfy. And I never really was a drinker, but Chris and Tom, they used to drink. You drink old Natty Ice, just the cheapest beer you can possibly buy at the time, and of course warm, since we weren't allowed to drink, so we had to hide it, so it was warm Natty Ice. And it used to mess them up, because they were both smaller guys. It didn't take much to get them drunk to begin with, but this nasty warm beer certainly did the trick. So we go to our normal spot. They got their nasty warm Natty Ice up there, and of course it brought you know, the stuff we were smoking. And we're hanging out, we do our thing, and it was the walk home. The walk home through the woods back to Chris's house. We hear this horrific scream. Now there's no houses back there. There's nothing going on, no residents, no roads, and nothing. Later, this is, you know, years ago, later they built a development back there. But at the time, it's dead. It's just woods. And we hear this scream, almost like a girl is being murdered. It's horrific. And it freaks the hell out of all three of us. And we kind of want to go investigate, but it's the opposite direction where the house is. And it's like really, really freaky. And it's something, you know, human curiosity, we want to go check it out. We want to see what's going on, but at the same time, you don't. You're almost afraid of what you're going to find. So we decided, it kind of came and went a little bit. You can hear it really faint in the distance. So we decided to end up just going home. And on the way home, this massive bird, what we thought was a bird, what we conclude now to be maybe a turkey vulture or something. If you never experienced turkey vultures, we had those in Jersey too. And they're a big, fat bird. Anyway, this thing flies right in front of us across the little trail through the woods. And of course, at the time, having this mindset of the Jersey Devils out here attacking someone or screaming at us or warning us to get out of the woods, we think this is the Jersey Devil that just flew in front of us, that were being attacked. All three of us screamed like little girls, ran as fast as we could. Of course, me being the fattest kid, I was a little bit slower. Chris and Tom already got to his house, and I'm running by myself. I'm scared out of my mind. I finally get to the house. I'm like, what the hell? What are you doing? Because they left me there. They freaking left me with the Jersey Devil. Or what was possibly a turkey vulture. I don't know. But I've never seen him at night like that, and I've never seen him out in the woods. I've only seen him hanging out at garbage dumps, you know, the garbage, the dumpsters, really, by the delis and stuff. It was really, really scary. Talked about that for months and months. Tom always swore that it was the Jersey Devil. Me and Chris were trying to be more sensible and more realistic as to what the real explanation could have been. But, of course, there's really no way to tell. Could have been anything, right? But I tell you one thing, that was probably the most scared out of my mind I ever was in my entire life. I literally thought we were being attacked now, because when you hear some creepy noises to begin with, you're on edge. Something jumps out, you know, you scream, whatever. But we're in an environment where we're out in the middle of the woods. Anything can happen to us. No one's there to help. No one's going to hear our screaming. We hear this creepy, creepy screaming noise. we're thinking Jersey Devil, and all of a sudden something that appeared to be like the Jersey Devil comes right in front of us. I mean, I'm talking big flapping wings. Scared the hell out of me. But I was really just pissed off because my friends ran home and they left me. I was the odd man out. I was the chubster, just trying to run home, at least to Chris's house. So I was pissed off that, after I finally relaxed that I was home and I was safe at his house, once I got over the fear part of it, I was pissed off. Like, what the hell, man? Oh, what the hell? So that was my first experience with the Jersey Devil. That was with my friends. The second time was walking home from Matt's house, totally different part of town. And by the way, this is all North Jersey. It's not where the Jersey Devil is known to be. It's really more of a southern Jersey type thing. But like I said, there's been sightings or apparent sightings all over Jersey. So the second time walking home from Matt's house, of course, I'm all alone. Once again, walking through the woods. There's a shortcut that I used to take. And it used to be a little bit creepy because there wasn't a dedicated walking path. You're literally just trenching through the woods. But it was a big shortcut. It cut about 2 miles off of my trip home. So I'm walking home by myself, and I hear some cracking in the woods, some cracking of sticks. That telltale, crazy, scary-ass moment you have when you're in the woods by yourself, which a lot of you probably never experience. I'm sure a lot of you don't just walk through the woods by yourself, particularly at night. Most of my scariest moments were when I'm by myself, kind of freaking myself out because I'd be out hanging with my friends. And this is before I got my I was in between having my license. The first story that I told, I had my license at the time, but us, smoking pot, we weren't driving around. I wouldn't say we were responsible potheads, but we certainly didn't take unnecessary risks like driving. But this other story, this was years before when I was with my friends. I'm all by myself. I know I didn't have my license at the time because I'm walking home from Matt's house. And it's always nighttime. I have to get home by curfew. My personal home curfew is 11 o'clock. Doesn't matter what I'm doing, where I am, be home by 11. That's it. That's bedtime. You got to be home, So, walking through the woods, I hear the cracking of the sticks. I stop. What was that? I'm listening ever so intently what it can possibly be. And I'm not kidding you when I say that there was a person-sized shadow right in front of me, about 7-8 feet away. But it's pitch black in these woods. There's nothing going on. Moon was maybe, quarter moon or so there's not a whole lot of ambient light. But I can tell that there's this big black thing. Now, originally I thought maybe it was a rock or something, but I'm very intent. Because I heard the noise, I'm very focused, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And I see this big black thing right in front of me. Initially, like I said, I thought it was a rock, but it starts moving closer to me. It felt like I was on a slide, and I was slipping slowly towards it. That's what it felt like. It was getting bigger, and it was coming closer. And I was kind of frozen. I was scared out of my mind. I'm trying to listen. I'm seeing this object kind of move closer, but I'm frozen in place. I couldn't run. I couldn't run. I couldn't say anything. I couldn't do anything. And at this time we had cell phones, but not everyone had cell phones like we have them today. They were expensive. My parents had cell phones. I didn't have my own cell phone. It wasn't like that. So if something happened to me in the woods, I couldn't even call for help. And I'm probably, 2-3 miles from the nearest house. So even if I were to scream, they wouldn't know where it was coming from, if they were even hearing me. So I'm standing there, and I felt like something reached out and touched my chest. I felt a tickle, like something just lightly brushed me across the chest. And I just ran. I ran for my life. In fact, I ran the wrong way. I ran the way that I came, as opposed to going through the woods, which would have been the shorter way to pop out on this main road. So I ran back the other way, which must have been at least, 2.5, 3 miles. And again, still a fat kid. So I'm sweating and huffing and puffing. My heart, it feels like it's going to explode out of my chest. It was ridiculous. Now, I've told this story. Again, to this day, I have no idea what it is. I thought it was the Jersey Devil because I heard that same shriek as I'm running out of the woods. That same high-pitched scream. The sound of a woman basically screaming her lungs off to the point where it's almost too high-pitched to be a human being. I wouldn't think it kind of sounds like a woman screaming, but there's no way that noise is coming from a person. It's impossible. It's some kind of an animal. The Jersey Devil? I don't know. But it's definitely not a human noise. It's blood-curdling. It makes you cringe. It makes the hair in the back of your head stand up. Gives you the chills. And I'll never know what it was. Could have been a twig. Could have been my imagination. When we have fear, we tend to create things. We create situations that aren't really there because our mind's tricking us. But the one thing that always told me that this is the Jersey Devil was that telltale scream. That screech is just unlike anything I've ever heard in my life. Freaking myself out right now. So anyway, that's been my experience with what I thought was the Jersey Devil. But who knows? Could have been anything. So if you guys have any Jersey Devil stories or experiences, feel free to make videos and let me know about them. If you make one, I'll link it in the description box since there's no more video responses. But for now, I'm going to finish my pipe. And I'm going to give you a little look around with this TN30 because it's freaking awesome. And I'm checking again for bears. Turn my camera around without making so much friggin' noise. Alright, give you a shot up in the trees here. Whoa! God damn. My, friggin' gave myself the creeps here. The tripod just folded on me. Anyway, a little beam shot way up there in the trees. It's gotta be at least 100 feet off the ground. Flashlight is beautiful. Alright, that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed my story on the Jersey Devil. Thank you very much for watching. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.